I'm Joe Peroni.
And I'm Heidi Mancini.
And welcome to the From Grief to Relief show on WCOBM.com. Heidi, any announcements to start?
We want to take a moment to thank Frank Scandora, president of Frank's European Service, for sponsoring the From Grief to Relief show. Also, Jay Young from City Athletic Club. He's also a sponsor of the From Grief to Relief show, so we want to make sure we send our thanks out to them. And also all of our listeners and supporters of the From Grief to Relief show. We appreciate everyone.
And also, where will we be on Sunday night?
Oh, Sunday night we're going to be at Caesars, and we're going to see The Who in concert.
Finally. Well, we just saw them 2 weeks ago in Seattle.
Yeah.
But I've had these tickets for like almost 3 years now. Between them canceling and all that stuff. Finally. So this is the weekend. It's going to be great.
It'll be a fun weekend.
It's going to be great. Would you like to talk about our special guest today?
Oh, our special guest today is Francine Summerville. And
round of applause.
Round of applause. And she's a very interesting young lady, and I invited her on our show because she inspires me because she's different. And I mean different in a good way. She seems like she has a very strong presence. She's 20, and I was impressed by that because she's very different. And as we talked in our conversations, she told me that she's a musician and plays the acoustic guitar, which floored me. And I said, "You're kidding me? You play an instrument?" And
you mean you don't play the turntable? You
no,
don't do that
I'm
thing?
not. I don't got the whole finger coordination.
And the tie-dye thing, and that's one of the reasons that Joe and I are in tie-dye today.
That's right.
Because we talked one day in the morning, you used to be at the desk at the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I came in one day with either this jacket on or something, and Francine loves tie-dye. She hooked me up with an internet company that sells tie-dye clothing, socks, shorts, shirts, whatever. And so then our conversations went on from there. So I thought she'd be interesting to have on our show so we could talk about today and girls today.
That was our bonding point.
Yeah, the tie-dye was the bonding point because I said you're an old soul or something.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before you take over a little bit, because I want you to do that, but I want to tell you what I thought about you when I very first saw you. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
Yeah. I came into the gym, just said hi. That was it. And within a day, I thought, who is this girl's parents? I thought, because this is an amazing young girl here. Like, you can see it immediately, the way you talk. I think you were reading some, geology book or something, or some philosophy book. I don't know. I was like, wow, okay, that's interesting. And just the way you talked, you seem like have a lot of wisdom already, like an old soul. So I'm like, wow, there's some really good parenting going on here. So we're going to talk about your parents a little bit later too, if that's okay, because I want to be right.
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of my parents. I would love to talk about them.
So I'll let you take over.
Well, first of all, Francine, you can tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What school you go to.
Okay. I go to UNLV. I'm studying geology there. That would be my major. I have a very strong interest in music, but ever since I was little, I would come home with rocks in my pocket. And my dad and my mom, we would go out gold prospecting. So I've kind of always been raised in the outdoors along that scene. So geology was kind of an easy thing to go with for college. And then I moved out here. I've been here for about a year now from a little town called Yerington.
Okay.
So
I've never heard of
Well,
that.
let's go back to Yerington. Is that how many people?
I think the population is like 4,000.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
And what brought you to
everybody.
Vegas?
So is your family here now?
I have a sister that lives here, and her husband Chris. So what happened was I had everything set up in Reno because it's about an hour from my little town, and then living conditions got kind of switched. So my sister was like, "Well, come live with me here in Vegas. You can go to UNLV," and then here I came. So wasn't sure about it at first, but now that I'm here, I don't see myself anywhere else.
So you like Las Vegas?
So far, I'm like it. Didn't like it at first, but I guess it grows on you.
Tell me about Yerington. What do people do in that place? Yerington?
That's a very awesome question. Yeah, Yerington. You really don't do much besides the school, and there's a bowling alley, but other than that, there's
a bowling alley.
one, and then one movie theater. So there isn't a whole lot to do there, but You keep busy with sports and school clubs and all that is what I did, and music, a lot of music.
So do you think being raised in a small town helped you as far as your growth and who you've become today?
Yeah, I could say that. I feel like you get what you give, so you look at the experience however you want to grow from it. Some kids, they don't like it because you do feel a little claustrophobic in a small town, but others, you feel safer. So it does kind of shape who you are. But
So tell me how Facebook and stuff like that affects your life, because the more I read about it, it seems like the younger generation is becoming more and more superficial, narcissistic and all that. And I'm thinking it's got to be a little different when you're in a small town.
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean, the internet's still there, so
True.
you feel a little bit more open to the world, I guess, with Facebook and stuff, because you get other information, not exactly from reliable sources, of course, but it also probably isn't a great thing for my generation because we've become so reliant on it. We're always attached to it, and you see decreases in your education because you can't even read certain things because it's not on the internet, or it just kind of changes.
Do you think social networking and all that, do you think it affects your relationships as far as how this generation interacts, because everything is on Facebook, Instagram now. Everything on Instagram is fake because everybody airbrushes everything, and of course I'm on there too, and of course we only put our best pictures up there. So as far as relationships go and how you actually interact in a relationship with a guy, is it harder because of all that?
It's much harder because you have all these other people that you don't even talk to in person, but they're trying to get involved in your life, right? You guys can message or send comments on certain posts, but in real life you guys will never interact. Or if you guys do, you guys don't necessarily like each other, or you do like each other. So it makes my generation is very dependent on communicating through electronics and the internet rather than person-to-person communication.
So the person-to-person, if there's the lack of person-to-person, how do you think that affects their self-esteem and how they feel about their communication skills and talking?
I feel like it downgrades it a lot. They don't feel confident enough to say it to their face, but they'll feel confident enough to type it out on a keyboard. So
social media is kind of making the generation, go backwards just a little bit as far as their social skills. Because Joe and I have talked about this, I said, relationships in the future, it's going to be interesting to see because and I observe this a lot too on the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm no exception to it. I have to tell myself, please put that phone down because you're sitting here with your boyfriend right now and this is time for you. Put the phone down. What else is going on in the world isn't important. And I go through the gym, I walk in the break room at the gym and everybody's sitting there and they're texting. They're not even having a conversation. You walk into a restaurant, same thing. Everybody's on their phone, somebody's talking. Yeah. And I wonder, well, how do you actually have a relationship?
Yeah. It's a good question, and it's a lot of issues for a lot of people these days. But it's very actually relieving when you actually just put the phone down for a week or so, turn it off, put it away, maybe go up to Mount Charleston or some kind of wildlife and just get away from technology for a while. It feels amazing. You feel relieved almost. So
do you have real friends? I mean meaningful relationships, or is it mostly the way I see where people are looking to get 5,000 followers kind of thing?
I have a lot of people on Facebook, but they aren't considered my friends necessarily. I consider my friends people I surround myself every day, that I choose to surround myself with every day. So
perfect. Oh, look at that, we almost have to go to a break. So you're a guest. Do you want to take everybody to break? Just say we'll be right back after these messages.
We will be right back after these messages.
There's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Go to church 'cause your mama says to. There's a follow every chance that you can. It won't be a waste of time. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, simply say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't expect every right from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip in your spine. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Know the difference between sleeping with someone and sleeping with someone you love. I love you ain't no bigger plan, so always stay humble and kind. Hold the door simply to say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When those dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Yeah, oh, yeah. Humble and kind, humble and kind. When it's hard, eat a root beer popsicle. Shut off the AC and roll the windows down. Let that summer sun shine. Always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love life gives you. When you get where you go, and don't forget some backgrounds. Help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind. Yeah, yeah. Humble and kind, humble and kind.
I'm Joe Peroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini.
Welcome back to the From Grief to Relief show on WCOBM.com. And we have a very special guest with us today, Francine Summerville. I love
Thanks
that
for
name,
coming
by the way.
on.
Oh, thanks.
Francine
Francine, it's so adult. It's,
Yeah.
it's a
Well, the
fresh
Somerville
name.
part too. That sounds like a
Yeah.
musician.
Sounds like, yeah. It's
Sounds
just,
like
it's
someone
artsy.
who would be into like tie-dye and all that
It's an
kind of
artsy,
stuff.
creative
Flowers
name.
and
Flowers and the
barefoot
flower bus and all this stuff. And by the way,
Cherries.
Francine is 20 years old.
20 years old.
So her mind is older though, and her
Yeah.
soul is older. I think she was, like you said earlier, I think she's come back she's a hippie at heart. That's what, right?
The hippie at heart, yeah.
So when you write songs, where does it come from? You must have some type of life experience.
Well, when I write them, I try to write songs about what I see going on and how I'm not necessarily feeling, how I'm feeling too, but I try not to write songs about the boy or, relationships, because there's so much more going on in the world.
So you're an anti-Taylor Swift type thing then?
She's all right. I know she's got more going on that she'd like to talk about besides the boy next door, but
Yeah, you would
But-
hope, right?
yeah, I would
Yeah,
hope,
you would
because
hope
there's
so.
so much more to life than that. But my inspirations are like the music about the 60s when they're singing about what's going on around them. So that's kind of where I like to go with my music. My mom raised me on Bob Dylan, so
All
And
right, Mom.
he's always singing about what's going on right around him. So
Yeah.
that was kind of one of my inspirations for that kind of thing.
So I was going to ask you, where you got your music inspiration from, and your mom and dad both listened to.
Very big
to
influences.
did you sing Neil?
Neil Young,
Young.
Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, more in there, but I'm drawing a blank right now. But
Yeah.
those are big inspirations about what I wanted to write about. But then as far as my sound, the inspiration came from like Nora Jones.
Oh, I love Nora Jones.
And she has such
Oh,
a soft voice.
yeah.
And when I started, and I still kind of do, I have a very soft voice. And so she gave me inspiration that I didn't have to be like Christina Aguilera or Beyonce yelling into a microphone all the time. I could be softer
Yes,
with
be you.
my music. Yeah.
Be you. It's perfect.
So people like that and Vance Joy and the Lumineers, big
Vance
influences.
Joy. I don't know if
Yeah.
I've ever heard of Vance Joy.
Gotta look them up. I promise you'll be
Vance
happy.
Joy?
Yes.
Okay, I'll check that out. And the Lumineers?
The Lumineers, yeah. Mumford and Sons.
Oh, Mumford and Sons.
Mumford and
yeah, I like
Sons,
Mumford and
good.
Sons. Yeah.
How about Philip Phillips?
Philip Phillips is good.
Yeah.
I've
He's good too.
played a few of his songs before too.
Yeah, he's great. He won American Idol. What did you think of that show?
I never had the channel to watch it, but from what I heard of it, I loved it. The show that me and my parents actually watch is The Voice.
Okay, yeah, I watched that
It's
too.
kind of like American Idol, but it's only got like the singers in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like when they play though.
I do too.
Joe likes the
Yeah.
American Idol.
Yeah. Do you like
Yeah.
James Taylor?
James Taylor, yes.
Another one.
A good one.
So,
So-
you're gonna play your original song for us today,
Piece. Yeah.
and you're gonna sing too. You're gonna
Yes.
play and sing.
Yes.
Awesome.
Both.
All right, well, let's
So
get out of your way
let's
and
get out of
Okay.
your
let
way
the
and
star
let
do
you
her
do
thing.
your thing.
Cool. Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
I wish I could just walk away. I wish I could see past today. And because my path is getting clear, I'll let it go of what I hold dear. 'Cause I don't know why I'm fighting anymore.
That was excellent.
Oh, so you wrote that yourself?
Yeah, I wrote that my freshman year in high school, so quite a while ago, about 5 years.
Wow, that's
That's
amazing.
amazing. That's amazing. I get emotional. I get emotional.
I was
No, I did
watching
too.
you.
I was
get
feeling
emotional when I'm not
emotional.
happy. I get emotional all the time. I'm trying not to cry because I'm just so touched. And I just,
Thank you.
so I'm not crying because I'm sad or that
No,
I
good.
liked it. It's inspiring.
That's
it's beautiful.
the point of my music. I want to
beautiful.
inspire people. I want to touch them. Otherwise, what's the point
That's
if you
true.
don't touch them? So.
That's true.
So are we allowed to ask like how you came to write that and what it means to you, or does
I
that
was-
give away too much of the artist?
No, I was feeling like a freshman in high school. The future seemed so far away, and I never wanted to grow up. I was one of those kids that never wanted to. So it was kind of like I just got to make that push, to grow up and see what tomorrow's going to bring. And I had the dream of going to college, and here I am.
And here you are.
So
Is this your first year of school?
yeah, so just
So you're
started.
Freshman in college.
Mhm.
So that song was written when you were a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
So that was a few years ago.
Oh, hold on. You were like what, 15 then?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, that's amazing. That was great.
Thank you.
It had that sound where I almost felt like I heard it before. Like not like it sounded like somebody else, but it connects immediately. Is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. I was like, yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
The lyrics are great. How long does it take you to be able to just play and sing at the same time? That seems like it's really hard.
It was something I've been playing for 11 years now, so it's something I developed over about a year. My parents got me Guitar for Dummies, so taught
Guitar
myself.
for
Taught
Dummies.
myself everything. Yeah.
So you're self-taught?
Yes.
That's excellent.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow. Well, good job, lady.
Thank you.
That was perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to break.
And we're going to break.
And we're on break.
We're on break.
I'm Joe Peroni.
And I'm Heidi Mancini.
Welcome to the From Grief to Relief show on WCOBM.com. So we have a very special guest today. Heidi, tell everybody who it is.
Francine Summerville.
All right. Now, for those of you who have been with us the last couple segments, you did hear an original song.
Beautiful.
And not for nothing, but I'm going to say it was much better than Taylor Swift. Seriously.
Beautiful.
And there was no twerking involved, nothing like that. It was very,
There will be none of that here.
it was,
There'll be none of that here.
it was a very caring song, and I could hear the whole Neil Young, James Taylor kind of vibe. That's
Francine
cool.
Summerville vibe. She had the Summerville vibe in there.
Yeah,
Right.
it was great.
Nice.
All right, so this is the From Grief to Relief show.
It
So
is.
I'm going to have to bring up something that might be difficult. Are you okay with that?
All right, let's go for it.
All right,
Can't
so-
run away anyways,
No.
right?
No.
You're locked in here.
Yep.
Doors
Door
gets locked.
So I have a quote from you. It's in the hard times that we see how truly strong we are, not only as a person, but as a family. So I was wondering what exactly that means to you and how maybe you've overcome hard times.
Having two elderly parents, we've always had to work for a lot of things we've wanted. And it can get pretty hard, right? Because my parents, they're in their 60s, and I would always, I love helping them and taking care of them, but it's kind of hard, being the age I am with two elderly parents, paying the bills was not always the easiest thing. And so that's basically what that was about, was how you have to come together as a family when you want to get through things. And I would never take back anything I've been through, because anything in my family or my life, because it makes us who we are. It shows us what we can get through, and once you get through one thing, you take on the next, right? So
Yeah, I think that's a good way to build up some self-esteem too.
yeah.
So that's always a big conversation that we have with people. So how do you feel about yourself inside?
I feel pretty good right now about my life, about where I am, and I feel pretty confident with who I am. But the first step is to just let life happen, embrace what's going to happen, and overcome it. Let go of anger, because anger just stops you.
I wanted to ask you, I kind of asked you already, but you're being a pretty independent girl now, how it was becoming who you are and dealing with the peer pressure and
Yeah.
girls your age and people telling you who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to look like, what music you should like, how you've been able to be okay with being you and maybe being alone.
Yeah.
Or if you have been alone. I'm assuming. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really fit into any niche in high school or socially, because I get along with everybody. I try to see everybody's point of view and the way they want to live or the way they don't want to live, and I was always a Rolling Stone. I never went with what they wanted me to do, because I'm gonna be who I want to be. It's my life. Right?
Where do you think you developed that from? Where do you think do you think you learned it? Do you think it was an environmental thing?
My parents were a big influence on that. They always told me I could be whoever I wanted to be. And then along with that, people can tell you anything as much as they want, but you have to believe it yourself. You have to discover it yourself in order to achieve what you want to achieve. So they would tell me, I'm like, yeah, Mom, I'm listening, yeah. And then, when you finally see when they're right, that's when you're like, oh, okay, I totally understand now.
How do you think you discovered it?
Good question. It kind of just happens. You just have to be open to seeing it, the answers, and I guess that's kind of just what it goes with.
Yeah.
Well, they say that in the Buddhist thinking, you have to be open.
You have to be open.
Because if you're not open, you don't receive anything. So you have to, we've learned that lesson, or I've learned that lesson, to open,
Right. Who got you your first guitar? Maybe did
That
that
would
open up
be-
your life there?
That was a big stepping stone, because
Yeah.
music is a very great relief for me, like just to write down something that you're feeling. And so that would be my Theo, my uncle Leonard. Big inspiration for me too. I'm half Mexican, that's why I say Theo, because he's always been Theo. You don't say uncle. He was my Theo.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought that
So-
was his name. I was
No.
that was a
I
different
thought it
name.
was Theodore. I didn't.
Theo, uncle. So he gave me his guitar that he was playing when I was his age, and at the time I was about 11. So it was a very, very old guitar, and he's like, I want you to learn how to play this, and I was like, okay, I'll do my best. And then my parents got me Guitar for Dummies, and from there on I was just playing music. Yeah.
So I know your parents are a big inspiration. Would you like to play a song?
Yeah, I'd like to play Stand By Me, our family song. So,
Perfect.
Here we go.
We'll stand back and
We'll stand
let
back
the artist
and
do her thing.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light to see, I won't cry.
That's great. Another old song.
Yes.
Right?
Good song.
Yeah.
I liked your genre, though. I like the way you kind of gave it a little, I don't know, something was going on there. I liked it. I liked it.
I try to know songs from all over the place because when I play on Fremont Street or something, like just to get some extra money, I like to play, like whoever's standing in front of me, I try to guess what kind of music they like, and then if I'm right, you know, college fund money. So
There you go. Do you go down to Fremont often?
I try to go down on Friday nights. It's kind of hard with work now with the change
Yeah.
in schedule, but I'm going to start doing Saturday nights.
Well, that'd be cool. Joe and I could go out on Saturday because we don't have to get
Yeah.
up in the morning.
Yeah.
That's something to do.
Night
We don't like
out.
to go out on Fridays because we both work on Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, we can't go out and enjoy ourselves because we always have to worry about
And
it. But we'll
priorities
come out
are
and see you
important.
for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
For
That'd be
sure.
nice.
So Fremont Street every Saturday night, everybody. You got to go see Francine Summerville sing her originals and her
And
covers.
covers, yeah.
So yeah, awesome.
So do you play anywhere else at the moment?
Not at the moment. When I was back home, I did a lot of like festivals and flea markets and stuff. But since I've been out here, I haven't really. I've been buckled down with school, so I kind of drifted a little bit from my music. But I'm looking to get back into it more seriously.
One question I want to ask you while I got a minute: what made you get into training? Because you're each person. You train at the gym. I know you're working the front desk at the gym.
Yeah.
But have you always trained?
I've been always athletic. I've always been in sports, and then I like to eat my cheeseburgers. So I figure I might as well work out at the same time, you know, because
There you go.
I'm not getting any younger, right?
You're on a maintenance program.
I'm on a
There you go.
maintenance program, basically.
Okay.
And it's also a good relief, too, to get in there and move some weights around.
Slam those weights around.
Slam those weights around.
Okay. Yeah, because you train. I see you almost every day now.
Once you see
Seems-
results, it's really addicting to
it's
get
addicting.
in there.
Yeah.
It's addicting, and it's nice to be in shape and be comfortable with your body. So,
Good.
It'll help
fun.
you on stage too.
exactly.
You'll
Yeah.
get
helps you
even
everything.
more of a role model, right?
Yeah.
Go look at
That'd
that
be
girl in
nice.
shape.
Need to cut back on those burgers, right?
Cut back on those burgers.
Ice cream.
No, because you can see. You can see what you're training. You're starting to kind
Yeah.
of shape and
shape
lean
up.
out. And,
Yeah. A lot of people have been saying that.
All right. So I guess we're going to go to break again.
That's right. Time to go
And
on
we'll
break.
Be back.
I'm Joe Peroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini.
Welcome to the From Grief to Relief show on WCOBM.com. And we have our very special guest today.
Francine Summerville.
Ah.
Woo! I love your name. Love it. It's got a nice, I don't know, it sounds like an artist's name.
Artist name. I like my name too.
So one of the things I want to ask you is, do you have a boyfriend?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Good.
Yes, his name's Jordan.
Jordan, is he here in Vegas?
Yes, we're going on 5 months now. So
Awesome. Did you meet him at the gym?
I did.
Yeah. Does he still train there?
Yep.
He does? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, see,
is
we have
he
love in the
watching
gym.
the show?
No, he's at work unfortunately, but I'll have to show him later.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Good
it's
deal.
good. It's kind of a nice contradiction with, having somebody to be close to and then stress out about school and work and all that,
Somebody to share it with.
Somebody to share it
Now, is
with.
he in college too?
No, he's a bit older than me, so
A bit.
a bit. Just
There's the
Just a
mom. Did
couple-
you hear that?
yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
And the mom came out.
No, it's okay.
I'll
You know
scoot
what?
over closer.
Listen, I'm not surprised with that, and I'll tell you why. Because you are mature for your age.
Yeah.
And I would not expect you to be with a guy your age because they're very immature.
They're
I'm
very
sure.
immature.
And I'm not being a jerk right now.
No.
But one of my other clients, she's a good friend of mine, her daughter, I told her, I said, do not be surprised if your daughter does not start dating older men.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is very mature for her age too, an old soul, and she likes older men.
Yeah,
So,
it was
it
not
makes
even
sense.
planned or anything, and at first it set us back a minute, but then it was just so easy to be together and we just connect on a level neither of us have before, so
Well, that's what it's all about,
it is
connection.
connection,
you know?
very important in energy and all that.
And interest. You met him at the gym.
I
So
did.
did he come up to you at the gym?
No, what happened was I went from morning shifts to late night shifts, and he works out at night. And it took us forever to actually have a conversation. He would, I'd be, hi, how you doing? Being myself, and check him in, and he'd walk away. I'm like, I'll get to you. I will. I'll get, And then one day we just, we both were, interested in each other, but we were playing it off, and then he saw me trip over a weight, and so that's how we started talking.
He came to your rescue.
Came to my
So
rescue.
make sure you're okay.
Superman complex.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
That's the name of your new song.
Superman complex.
That's a really good one.
That's a
I
good
like
one.
it. I could do
You need
that.
to write that song.
I will.
And
When
we'll
I
have
do,
you back.
I'll let you know.
Can we start?
Superman complex. That's good though.
Yeah.
It's good to have a guy like that.
It is, yeah. To help support. So
And another thing I want to ask you, I know you're young to ask this question, but what do you expect to leave? Do you have any expectations of what you want to leave behind you when you... What kind of legacy? Everybody talks about legacy.
Yeah,
What your
legacy's
goal would
important.
be. Or is that
People are always like, I try to always see the good in people first, and sometimes it doesn't always end too well emotionally. But if I don't see the good first, if I don't try and see that somebody can be something more, or see their dreams that they want to achieve, and try and help them pursue that, then what's the point of life? Like, there's so many negative things, negative people. I'm not gonna be one of those people. So
see, you just answered something for me today, because I had something happen to me, and I was talking to Joe about it on the way over, and sometimes it's hard when you try to be good, and then you kind of get a slap upside the head, and you go, well, all right, well, it is true what you said. You'd rather be the person, being the helper, seeing the good in people and the benefit of the doubt than the, well, I'm just gonna be,
anything worth having is worth fighting for. So, and I want to be that person. So, and it's not going to be easy. Nothing's ever easy in life. So, you just gotta go with
it's hard.
it.
So as long as you know it's hard, it's hard.
It is. It is. But hard times make you better. So.
So what's your goal?
My goal
Music. Yeah.
in music. If I could become famous and play in front of billions of people, that would be amazing. And but right now, as long as I touch somebody that I'm playing for, that's more than I can ask for. But I'm going to college. I'm trying to get my career going first, and then music will always be a part of my life. But I didn't want it to be a source of my income for like paying bills and whatnot. So.
All right. So you have your passion.
It's my passion and career.
You got to take care of the other stuff too.
And
so you played in festivals, you told us.
Yes, I've played back home. I've played in like festivals, like they're called Cantaloupe Festival, like flea markets, little get-togethers in town where vendors come out and sell fruit or their jewelry and stuff. My parents, we make and sell jewelry as well, so we were always around those kind of events. So I would just set up on the side, and I have a little bucket that says college fund. And I would just.
But you're telling the truth.
I am. No, definitely, it is for the college fund.
The college.
It is, yeah, because college is expensive, and I never wanted to have my parents pay for anything. They've done so much for me already.
Well, and you have such a fresh look about you that it would be hard. I think it would be hard for me to walk by you and not want to help you. So, yeah, I mean, you have such a fresh look that it'd be like, you gotta help this kid out. You gotta help her out.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of support when you do that? Do people help you out?
Yeah. I mean, I did one. I was doing one performance, and there were all these little kids around, and I was, upstanding, and I felt so far away. I didn't feel personal. So I got down and I started playing for them. And it was the most rewarding thing to have them smiling and singing with me. Like, and then, of course the parents are like, that's so cute. And then, you drop me $1 or something. But I feel like the most personal music is acoustic and up close. And if I was to ever get real big, that's what I want. I'd want to be close with my listeners. So.
That's awesome.
When you write your own song compared to doing a cover, is it really hard to do that? Because you're bearing your heart and soul, right?
Yeah, I'm bearing everything.
And
I have
so,
on the
like,
plate.
if some strange person didn't like the song "Stand By Me," you could go, well, it's not. I didn't write it.
Yeah.
You could step back from it. So how hard is it to play live in front of people with your own music?
It can be a little hard because you don't always know what they're thinking, or if they do tell you. But I try to accept criticism. I've never really had a bad critic yet, but I mean, I know they're out there somewhere, right? So you accept their point, and then you try and see their point, and then you can't always please everybody, right? So it can be emotionally like, oh, all right,
But that's a good way to take it, though, to know that you're not everybody's gonna like it, and you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign of self-esteem, good self-esteem too.
Right, I think that's...
You don't worry about it. You're like, this is me. I'm going to play what I want. I'm going to sing the way I want. And the people that like me. The ones that don't,
then I don't need you in my life.
That's good.
So how do you think your parents put those values in you? Because it seems like, like we were talking before about maturity. Most boys your age,
they're not very mature.
Most of them are sitting in their parents' basement, playing video games.
Yeah.
They're on medications because they can't stand life. It's really too hard for them to even walk across the street.
Yeah.
And
really.
How did you grow up?
They raised 6 kids, or I was the 6th one. They raised 5 from his side, her side, and then together. And so when they got me, they're like, we're not making any mistakes with you. Like, you're gonna be the best one here. So they were very strict. You know how kids are when you're strict on them. They're like, oh, you're just being mean to me. But no, they always have your best intentions.
Yeah.
So that it was a long ride, but I owe them everything. So
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Me too. Being a mother myself, it's nice to hear.
yeah,
Because I was a tough mom.
yeah.
So,
Not
you know, it's...
parents that are too easy on their
Soft.
kids. That's not okay. Doesn't
Or how
teach them
about when
very
they try to
much.
be their friend instead of their parent? How do you think that works?
Your parents can never be your friend. They're your parent, right? So
I'm a mom
it's their
forever.
it's their job to
Yeah.
make sure you're gonna be okay.
Right.
And so that means they're gonna tell you sometimes what you don't want to hear. So in friends, they don't always do that. So
True.
they're gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear in certain situations, and do what's best for you. So, and kids probably most of the time won't understand that, so they're older and on their own. But eventually, we do listen. We
Oh,
do.
yeah. It's
Eventually, we
Eventually,
listen.
You
right?
hear it sooner, some hear it later, but eventually you hear it.
Eventually, yes.
So,
We only have like 5 seconds left. Do you want to say goodbye to your parents?
Bye, Mom, Dad, people.
This is the From Grief to Relief show. I'm Joe Peroni. See
I'm
you next
Heidi
week.
Mancini.